Welcome back to the 3D Functional Strength series. So these next few videos are going to be exercises that utilize the whole body together. Because as I stated in the explanation video at the start of all this, it's all a point of getting the whole body to work together as one unit rather than work on only parts of the body's individual parts. Because if you only ever work on the body's individual parts, then when it's time to use them effectively and efficiently and move things as one unit, right? The body is already trained to use things individually rather than as a cohesive unit. So these next exercises are focusing on this functional part of the training where we put everything together and use the body as one whole. So the first one of these exercises is going to have 3 variants. So the first one I'm going to show you right here. So we start, we're going to squat down and then extend up and rotate. So this is the exercise. Now there's a lot I want to go into it, which is why we're doing a longer format for these next few videos, because there's a lot going on. So first we'll start down at the feet. So as I squat down, you might notice that I'm rotating my thighs inwards as I'm sinking my butt down, right? I'm not just going in a squat, I'm actively rotating my thighs inwards and my feet are pointing inwards as a result. So keep this in mind. I'm not only coming down, but I'm also rotating inwards. Then pay attention to the feet, the calves, because what they're doing while I'm rotating inwards, I'm taking the toes and I'm lifting them up as if to flex the shin guards here. So I rotate inwards, and you can't probably see it because of my shoes, but my toes are flexing upwards. While this is happening, right, I'm pulling inwards and downwards and rotating for my shoulders as well. So as I rotate and pull downwards, I slowly clench the fists and I rotate inwards, palm towards myself, and I curl the wrist towards myself as the elbow gets closer to my rib cage. So this is all very important, every part of it, because I'm not just coming downwards and I'm retracting, but I'm rotating at the same time, and I'm working on clenching and closing the fist. I'm also working on curling the wrists. So it's working the forearm in multiple different ways, as well as it's working the retraction for the bicep and rotation for the shoulder and retraction for the lats. So all of this is happening at the same time. So as I pull downwards, right, I rotate, I start to clench the fists, I curl the fists towards myself, bending the wrists, and pull in my elbows towards my rib cage. So it's not just down, but I'm also pulling inwards towards the center, almost like I'm trying to touch my forearms together like this. So also keep in mind that the retraction happening with both the arms and the legs is not only the arms and the legs themselves, but it's the torso involving itself as well. So as I pull downwards, it's the lats rotating, pulling, contracting, and the abdominal muscles is crunching, almost like doing like a crunch like this, but I'm not bending forward like this, but I'm using those abdominal muscles as if I'm trying to pull something down towards myself. So the whole body should engage to contract and pull downwards, as well as to rotate and pull upwards with the feet. Because that's one thing that's very important that we must not forget, is that the legs are part of this as well. And that's not just the legs, but the torso does the work. So when I rotate inwards, it's the inguinal crease that's contracting, and I'm using my hip muscles to rotate inwards and pull myself downwards. So you should feel engagement here as we contract, and you should feel the glutes engaged to anchor, and the whole body should contract as one. Make sure to keep the head as if it's being pulled upwards by a thread. Make sure the chin is tucked, and that we're not coming out with the chin, or are we bending the neck like this. It should remain straight up throughout this whole exercise. As much as you can, you want to make sure that you're not bending forward. But as you can see, there's only like a slight bend at most, but you want, for the most part, your tailbone pointed between your legs, so it's not sticking your butt out like this. So this all has to do with contraction, half of the exercise. So a lot of details already. So keep these all in mind as you're working on improvement. But now the extension. So now we have to do the opposite. So now we outwardly rotate and extend rather than retract. So let's start at the feet again. So before we rotated the thighs inwards and we pull the toes upwards. Now we're going to rotate the thighs upwards and press the balls of the feet into the ground. Not enough to lift off the balls of the feet, but enough to feel the firm press into the earth. If you were practicing on sand, you should feel the balls of the feet push deeper into the sand as if you were trying to dig further in there. So as you rotate the thighs outwards, press the balls of the feet into the earth. It should still rotate as if you're pivoting on your heels, but there should be that engagement that you're pressing the balls of the feet firmly into the earth. Then you should feel the engagement around the outer thigh, as well as in the back of the calf as you press into the earth. And then as we extend upwards, again, you should feel the glutes pressing and anchoring. You should feel the torso engage. Now to extend, you should feel the back start to engage, to contract as the front of the body stretches and expands. And again, we're not bending backwards like this, but we keep straight the whole time. Then for the lats, of course we had the retraction, but now it's going to work on the extension as well as the rotation. Because now we had a retraction movement which caused a contraction, pulling of the fist. Oh right, and I should give you that detail. It's not just rolling the fist like this, but I work pinky, index finger to thumb. So that's how I'm doing this whole retraction thing. So I come up, right? Should roll the fist like that. And then as you come up, the fist opens and presses into the sky. So you should feel the flank of the body, the lats, engage as if it's trying to push up and out. It should feel like very expansive. Not only push up, but you should feel pressure between these elbows as if something's trying to push you from both sides, and you're like, nope, I'm gonna squeeze that outwards and maintain this circle here. So we rotate, expand, and stretch. And much like in the previous lessons, there's one exercise where I told you about expand the palm forward, pull the fingertips backwards, and stretch. This is a type of power stretching. Keep that in mind for this part of the exercise as well. When you get to here, you're not just having a lazy palm, but the palm is actively pushing upwards while the fingertips are stretching back, because we're trying to work the power stretching aspect and work the tendons. You'll notice in these next 3 videos that are coming out with these exercises, they work a lot on tendon strength. Because the thing is, if you have, let's just say 10 pounds of, 10 units of muscle that can work for 10 pounds of force. We'll just say that is like an easy number. But your tendons are only strong enough to handle 5 pounds worth of pressure. Then the 10 pounds worth of pressure that your muscle can give will only ever give 5 pounds of pressure when you actually get to use it. Unless, of course, you have an adrenaline response. But the idea is that the body knows how far it can push itself before it will break, and it will naturally hold you back so you don't snap all your tendons when you're trying to push something. So when we're strengthening the tendons, we're essentially taking off those limiters little by little, because the body's like, okay, I can handle this a little bit better now. So it's important that when you train muscle, you also train tendon, because if you only train muscle, at some point you'll have a plateau. The tendons need to be strong as well, because they connect your muscle to the bone. Okay, enough lecturing. So as I press upwards, I'm pulling the fingertips backwards, I'm pressing the palms into the earth, into the sky, I'm expanding the elbows outwards. So you should really feel like not only am I going up and down, but there's this expansive all direction. I'm expanding, and then I'm shrinking, everything is pulling inwards. That's how it should feel. So that's the first variant. The other 2 variants are basically the same thing, but we're expanding in different directions. So second variant, we expand to the sides, and then pull inwards the same, and expand to the sides. You should recognize this movement from one of the previous episodes, working on the shoulder. But now, as you can see, the exercise is now working for the whole body because all those things I already mentioned already apply. So we have this pulling inwards, all this contraction, rotating, and then extending outwards. Then the third variant is forward. Contracting, pulling inwards, extending outwards. Contracting, pulling in, extending outwards. So that's these exercises. There'll be more details in the description below, but make sure that you watch the whole video so you can get a visual interpretation of it all as well. And now I'll go through all the exercises one by one. Keep in mind, for this exercise, there's a bit of dynamic tension to it. So I'm not just relaxing, push up and down, push up and out. There's amount of tension that I'm pulling back and causing self-resistance so that the muscles and the tendons can resist each other and then grow stronger via that resistance. All right, see you in the next video.